Hi, just thought of sharing a interesting book that I was reading. It is a really nice, crucial conversations, a very nice book, and I'll tell you the background basically. Um, of all the leaders in various industries, banking, finance, politicians, social, sports, all of them have a specific characteristics that are extremely important to be a leader or to succeed as a leader. Other than obviously educational qualifications and academic excellence, there are certain things which I have been working for a long time now. I have already enlisted maybe 14 such a traits, character traits, which are essential for success of an individual as a leader. Besides obviously academic qualifications and study that we do in the schools and colleges. And without these 14, 15 indicators, even a single parameter or characteristic of like this can make you a superstar. I'll give some examples at a later stage, but other than this 14, I was just thinking what else can be an important characteristic or ingredient of a successful person from the perspective of leadership and effect that we can have on people across the globe or at a very large number. So one of the important aspects that while I was reading this crucial conversations came to my mind is why not basically besides all the skills, ambitions, dreams, etc., and sincerity, ability to work hard, ability to focus, and ability not to get distracted by everything else that is happening around us. One very crucial and very simple thing that we tend to miss is holding conversations, speaking with people, sharing our opinions, sharing our desires, sharing our objections, sharing our experiences with others so that we mutually can get benefited at the right time, at right place. Now, we obviously learn to speak at a very early age, but having holding conversations and being able to speak are very different things. Conversation is basically exchange of ideas, exchange of experiences, exchange of words, so to say, which carries a lot of weight, a lot of meaning, and a lot of positive, negative aspects to it. So, holding conversations is one of the important aspects which typically people tend to either ignore or don't believe in, or they have no idea about how the effectiveness of this such a crucial conversations that can have that can we can utilize in our day-to-day operate lives as well as over a long-term careers. So this crucial conversations, it is very interesting. I'm not an agent. First of all, disclaimer is I'm not an agent of this book. Neither am I trying to sell. But this is a very crucial and interesting topic, and I would request you not to ignore it. If you ignore it, it will be at your own expense, and you will obviously learn these things after making mistakes. But then you have to pay for it in terms of money, resources, and energy. But so it is always better to learn from others' mistakes instead of making all the mistakes on our own. Okay, so what basically this book tends to cover is what is basically a crucial conversation. Then power of dialogue, so power of sharing information, power of sharing experiences, power of asking right questions, power of giving right answers, and then power of asking right, power of answering the power of questioning the answers again. So how do we, while having conversation with a person, how do we stay focused on what our objective is? Why we are speaking to certain individual? There must be some reason. I'm not trying to say that this is a selfish reason. It can be just for the sake of maybe giving the other person support or help, or just having a casual chit chat. But then also the objective has to be very clear so that we can stay focused on what the actual agenda of the conversation is. Then how to notice when safety is at risk. So obviously when we are sharing experiences and things with others, there are always some symptoms or signals that we can see from the other person that either can be negative or positive. If our what we're speaking is hurting or creating problems for him, he will obviously show in his behavior or body language, and we need to judge so that we can stay away from such all this explosive or sensitive talk or information, so that the necessary balance can be maintained between the two people. Because once you end up hurting people, once you end up making them uncomfortable around you, obviously they will subconsciously keep in mind that somehow while I meet Nilesh very often, but I'm not very comfortable because he tends to speak a lot of things which I'm not aware of or which I don't like or which I don't approve. A political basically discussions between friends can be a very good example. If let's say someone is a supporter of X party and I am from Y party and the third person is from Z party, then obviously there is no point in showing that how my party is better than yours. It is not. We are at a point we need to stop pushing political parties at the cost of our own friendships. So the next point can be how to make it safe to talk about almost anything and everything under the sun, because having sensitive conversations, having meaningful conversations about sensitive topics can be very different. It can be related to your personal life, it can be related to social life, it can be related to professional life, and it can be related to nuclear reactors. It can be related to whatever is happening in Israel and Palestine, whatever is happening in, let us say, Europe or Ukraine and Russia, or whatever is happening in, let us say, China for that matter. So all these topics, I'm not talking about only about politics, but it tends to be the logic here tends to apply for all the subjects or everything that we speak with other people. So how do we make sure that we can talk about anything and everything under the sun without hurting or making the other person uncomfortable, without making him feel that I'm too superior or too inferior or too choosy or too nosy? So these are the tactics. How to stay in dialogue when you are angry, hurt or scared. Now this is one of the biggest weaknesses that all of us have. If you are angry, we tend to talk a lot and we tend to regret it later. When we are scared, again we talk a lot of things which are not real, which are false. Again, the third point is, if I'm hurt, obviously the way I'm talking or the way I'm expressing tends to be very I'll not say argumentative, but negative in sense. I'm trying to give it back to the person who ended up hurting me the most. So these are some of the how to speak persuasively, not aggressively. How do we make sure that the thoughts or the experiences or the pointers that we're sharing with the other person land up softly, and he is open to discussing these pointers instead of building a boundary or building a wall in between us, invisible wall, where I'm just talking and the other person is not listening at all. So similarly, how to listen when others blow up or clam up. Obviously, when we're speaking on subjects which are sensitive, the person in front of you, because of his background, because of his situation, because of his circumstances, because of his experience, may blow himself up. He can be angry, he will just explode, or he's sensing the danger from my words, he may clam up, or he will build an invisible boundary beyond him, because of which I'm not at all being able to make effective conversation with the person. So how do we handle such situations when the person in front of us is exploding or is clamming up, he's not opening at all? So these some of the aspects are really well covered in this book, and I will sincerely request you, I'm not an agent again, but this is certainly a superpower, because I have seen a lot of people who are glib talkers, sweet talkers, and they can win meetings, they can win people even for momentarily, but they can impress people for a certain time only because of talking. I'm not talking about substance. And if you have substance and then you are building your conversation skills, nobody can stop you, because it is obviously it is always about communicating with the other person in front of you. Whatever my educational excellence, academic excellence, whatever my skill sets, whatever my background, whatever my money, etc., but until unless I speak to the person to make him comfortable about what I'm saying, there's no point in doing it. So these are the crucial conversations that we need to have with the people around us. It can be family, it can be friends, it can be society, it can be political party, it can be political leaders, it can be company, it can be colleagues, and it can be anybody and everybody under the sun. I hope it helps, and I hope you develop your crucial conversation skills so that relationships can get strengthened. Professional relationship, personal relationship, social relationship, political relationship, everything gets strengthened. Thank you very much.